Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I am still here. I'm at my parents' place here in Elverson, not up in Williamsport currently, and we just won an auction down here in Elverson. Actually, it's in Philadelphia, so the city about an hour that way. But today we're going to go pick it up. I'm going to show you guys what it is. I paid about $600 final bid for this, so it is definitely, nothing too special, nothing too crazy, but it's a cool vehicle. It's a 90s vehicle. If you know me, you know I love my 80s and 90s vehicles. It's a little quirky, and yeah, we're about to hit the road right now to go pick it up, and then I'll show you guys what it is once we get there. Alright, so we are out here at Capital Auto Auctions right now. This is around the side of the building. I just paid for the vehicle. It's back there, so we'll go get it. I just gotta go get the tags and then we can go and grab it. Alright, well here she is. So for 600 bucks, it's a pretty good van. It's sitting here purring right now, ready to go. Got a couple of things I gotta touch up, like this was hand painted, so I'll end up sanding that down, redoing these. It's got some paint failure, which that is what it is. It's an older vehicle. I'll be able to buff up some of this paint, but like the roof and all that, it is what it is. Maybe put some new headlights on it to make it look a little bit better. Still has its badging up here. Bumper, I could respray, but honestly, it is what it is. It's an older van. It's gonna have, some stuff going on. But the big thing is, it's not too bad rust-wise. I mean, look underneath. You got all your rocker panels are still here. Coming around the passenger side too, it's the same thing. Not a whole lot of rust on this at all, apart from this little spot right here, but that's about it. Underneath still looks great. Inside, this has the same thing going on over here with the trim. Inside, it has nice cold AC, which I am so happy about. It's running pretty good. It's not overheating or anything. It's got about half a tank of fuel, so I probably should stop and get some gas. But yeah, it's in great shape. I mean, headliner, everything, no tears or anything, which is really rare for any of these 90s Ford Nissan products. Steering wheel's still in pretty good shape. Seats are in good shape. The dashboard's in good shape, no cracking or anything. Gotta figure out how to open up this. I'll show you guys more stuff in detail once we get it home, but I just want to give you guys a quick look here. Got 3 rows of seats, got AC in the back too, ashtrays everywhere. Need a new Nissan badge for the rear, but that's about it back here. And tires, like I said, they're all the same around, Goodyear or Firestones, and they're all in good shape. And we got a pinstripe, so we got everything. We got 190,000 miles on the dash. We got keypad here. Got to see if I've got, once I get the glove box open, I'll be able to see if I have my owner's manual. But good power steering, good brakes. Shift's pretty good from what I felt so far. 190,000 on the clock, and like I said, let's see if it can get me home. So yeah, without further ado, we got a little aftermarket radio here too. And yeah, good heat, good AC. And now I just get to hit the road and see if it'll get me home. Alright, she's driving. We're on the turnpike right now and she's cruising at about 60. It definitely has a manifold tick or some kind of tick, but it feels good driving, and the suspension feels good, the brakes feel good, the transmission shifts really well. And yeah, we're just moving along here. Got my dad behind me following, and yep, about an hour, probably an hour, like 53 minutes from home, so we should be back soon. Alright, she made it home, no problem. I got it out here in my usual spot that I used to use here at my parents' house. Got the driveway set up here still. But this will probably be going up to Williamsport here within the next week, so I can do more work on it. I figured out some more things that need to be done with it. This brake caliper up in the front is definitely locking up. Yeah, it's still hot up here too. You can see it's got some buildup. It's definitely gotten hot a couple of times. You see those rotors, so you probably can't see. Yeah, those rotors are toasting there. Nice big groove in that one. Struts, if I can find replacement struts, maybe. I don't know. The suspension wasn't too bad. Overall, the rear struts are definitely blown out, so if I could get new ones, it would definitely help. But it's not needed. These brake lights are staying on, so I got to do something about that right now. I'll show you the setup on the inside here. Interior wise, I don't have much to do. New visor here, and I'm trying to figure out the radio. I can get it to work sometimes, but it comes off and on. But I got good AC and good heat, so that's what matters. And then back through here, like I said, that latch for the tailgate I need to figure out back there. But other than that, the rest of it's all good back there. Interior wise, it's great, cosmetically. But up here then, you can see there's that brake pedal switch. And you can see the brake pedal itself should have a little rubber stopper in there to be touching the button. But unfortunately, it does not have that. So it's not really touching, and then the brake light stays on. Show you guys under the hood here. Oil definitely needs to get changed ASAP. A couple other things fluid wise. Try to figure out how, there we go. Heavy hood. But other than that, other fluids look pretty good. Like the coolant looks good. This battery's new. The only reason it's been dying, the battery was dead when we first picked it up today, is because of those brake lights staying on. So once we fix that, it shouldn't be having a parasitic draw anymore. These struts up here are a little crusty. The struts in the back are a little crusty too, so it could help to do them. There is an exhaust manifold leak. Or I don't think it's from the manifold itself, but there is definitely an exhaust leak. I think it's gonna be right down here, kinda at the flex pipe in there. But like I said before, these rocker panels are in great shape. Rust wise, it does not have that much rust going on. It was a Maryland vehicle, so it spent a lot of its life in a much more southern climate compared to Pennsylvania, which has helped it. Apart from that little area there. But yeah, those rocker panels are great. So yeah, a couple of things that need to get done here. Got a nice agenda started up, and we're gonna start by hopefully getting these brake lights to turn off today, so I don't have to deal with the battery having to disconnect that when I don't want to run it. All right, day number 2 out here with the little Nissan Quest that I picked up yesterday. We went and picked up some parts today, primarily brake parts. A couple of things I noticed on the drive yesterday. I drove it some more after I got it home. Obviously parked it out here, getting it ready to work on now, in the stones, unfortunately. Hopefully everything should be sound here though. They're all packed down well. But this is my parents' house. I just got to deal with what I've been given, and it's a pretty good setup. So, all right, inside we got some brake parts. I'll show them to you now. Here we go. We got some new front brake rotors, pads, and then a cabin air filter, or not cabin air filter, these don't have those, but just normal air filter. You can see it's a little stormy out here. That's partially why I haven't gotten to work on it yet today. We've got some windshield washer fluid, basic stuff, oil for the oil change, injector cleaner, a bunch of stuff. I already ran some premium fuel through it and cleaned out some of that old fuel that was in it, and it's running much better now, but it could be running even more better. I just want to make sure everything's cleaned out. It's been sitting probably since 2013. I have an oil change sticker up there. You probably can't see it from here, but it says like 5 of 13 was the last oil change due date. So yeah, the last oil change was supposed to be done back in 2013 at 194,000 miles. This only has 191,000 miles, so it never even reached that. So oil is definitely getting changed. I am glad it made it all the way home from Philly yesterday with that old oil. It is definitely black and needing to be done. These I'm going to try to fix that brake light problem with. I already have a nut and bolt in there, making sure that the button is pressed and the brake lights are off, so the battery does not die now. It has a full charge. It's a brand new battery. It should. So that's how it should be. We have the calipers, because I have a caliper locking up in the front. And basically, this is everything we need. We have some dome lights we're going to replace right now. And this is everything we need to get this van up to Williamsport, where then I'll end up doing a whole front end suspension makeover on it, rear suspension, and do a couple of the other things, fix the manifold leak, and really make it drive like a new van. So after that, I'm going to treat the paint, do a detail, make it look new, and pass it on to its next owner. Alright, as you can see now, we finally have all of our dome lights working. Grab those, put those in. I'm going to do the oil change quickly now that the sun's out and shining. Here's underneath the hood. I don't know if I've shown this yet on camera or not. Yeah, that's just a Ford 3.0 V6 right there, powering this little Nissan. But overall, I really think this thing was being taken care of. It just got parked for a bit, but that really shows that. But there's the engine code down there. But yeah, I'm going to do the oil change now, so get it jacked up in the front here, and I've got to get the air filter, which is right there. So I'll show you guys that once I have it out. It's probably pretty bad. So here's the old one here. It's not too bad, but if you like open up the pleats, there is a buildup of dust and dirt and debris in there. That might have been done recently here, but we got a new one today, and you can see this one is ready to go. Yeah, so not too bad. Didn't need to get done, but gonna do it anyway just because just one more thing to have brand new, and might as well while I'm doing the oil change here. There is a little bit of a stain on this one that you can see, so it did get used. Alright, we got the new air filter in, everything's connected here. Gonna do the oil change now, so I got the cap off. Underneath, over back by that exhaust pipe right there, there is a little petcock type valve, but I think I can just unscrew it and let all the oil drip out together at once instead of just letting it go through the valve. Then the filter's right by there too, so it should be pretty simple. And that's like 4.23 quarts to fill it up. I did notice while doing the air filter, there was a vacuum line that completely just was breaking off that goes from the intake plenum down to this little vacuum actuator here on what I assume, yeah, that's the injector rail. So that could be why it was having a lack of power too. Some of the vacuum wasn't going right. I checked other vacuum lines though, they look fine. So I'll replace that as well, and hopefully she'll be a lot more peppy. Try to give you guys a better look at what you're trying to get at down here. There's the oil pan right there. There is a, I believe, yeah, 15 or 16 millimeter bolt on there for the drain plug, and then oil filter right next to it. So pretty easy to get to. You have to remove a couple plastic pieces though. There's that vacuum line that I was talking about. Beyond cracked and destroyed, so I'm gonna have to figure out a replacement for that. Alright, so she is back running and ready. Throttle seems a lot more responsive with that vacuum line replaced, and it's running good with the oil. A little bit dripped, so you can smell a little bit of residual oil, but overall it's in pretty good shape and ready to go. Alright, so today is brake work day. I've got the front wheel off here on the Nissan Quest. This is the side that was sticking and getting hot. So looking in here, I'm looking at the hose. It looks like the hose is okay. It's a little crusty in some areas, but honestly doesn't look that bad. Like up here, it's not even that rusty. Like that nut looks very easy to undo if we have to replace that hose. However, hoses are hard to get. I'd have to wait a couple of days to get one shipped to me. I can't just go to an auto parts store and get it. Looking around under here, this lower control arm looks pretty new. The paint on it is in great shape. There's no rust or anything. And the ball joint on it is in great shape. The ball joint up front is in great shape, at least on this side. The other side is brand new as well, so both front ball joints should be brand new, or at least close to new. I don't know when it was replaced, but it was replaced recently, and the ball joints are good. What is not good is that sway bar end link. So I'm going to do end links whenever I do these struts here. This strut is terrible. I can rock it. I don't know if I can do it one-handed, but yeah, it rocks back and forth when I move the wheel. So I don't have any like axial ball joint play, but I do have play from the front struts, which I knew from driving it. These I'm going to have to do in Williamsport though. I am not really able to do them here. Look at this stuff, it's just rusting right off. That's paint from the coil. But yeah, so just gonna get started on these brakes. I'm pretty sure this caliper's seized. I'm going to crack that bleeder screw and just check to see if the hose is still flowing, just to make sure that the hose is not bad before I do the job. And yeah, we'll get this brake job done and hopefully she rides much better. Alright, so I ended up actually going through the banjo bolt back here because that bleeder screw was ready to just fall apart on me. You can see it's pretty crusty. But yeah, the second I cracked that loose, some fluid started dripping out. I moved the hose a little bit, more fluid dripped out. So the hose is definitely working. It's not acting as a check valve. What happens are these hoses, they deteriorate on the inside and then pieces will flap out and act as a check valve, so fluid will go one way but not be able to go back, so it'll hold pressure on the caliper. So if a brake hose is bad, that could be causing a stuck caliper, but I think in this case it's just this caliper's bad. And you can see these pads have no life left on them and they are actually grinding the rotor. So yeah, some work needs to get done, but I've got calipers, rotors, and some pads around the other side. So got the tools laid out, got a little workstation here. Let's get to it. Alright, so I got all the brake parts off, apart from the caliper I have sitting up there for now. Gonna do that next. But take a look at these pads. Oh my goodness. That's why we got that ring going around the rotor here. But got some fresh new pads. The mounting hardware is all the same. You got one that sticks into the back of the caliper, and one that has a stupid bracket that clips to the front that I had to mangle up to get the caliper off of this. It's kind of interesting, this mounting bracket for the caliper has two prongs that come out that these clips connect to, and then but they don't come off. That's a part of the steering knuckle, so just the little caliper comes off. But yeah, got all that out, and now we're ready to put these pads and rotors, or the rotor at least, on, get the new caliper ready, bolt it up to the banjo bolt, and then we'll finish putting it together. Here's one of the new calipers. You can see you got the banjo bolt in the back, which I got a replacement of. You got the bleeder screw, and then you've got two hex bits, or two hex, I guess, bolts. Yeah, interesting looking bolts to mount it to the actual knuckle itself. So yeah, sucks that it's a hex bit. Not many people have that, but yeah, if you're doing a brake job on one of these, you'll need that. Alright, so we got the wheel taken off on the passenger side now. Got everything opened up under here. Same situation, strut is terrible, needs to be replaced. That's coming up. This side looks like they got some, yeah, there's definitely some more meat left on those pads in there. So it definitely was, the other side was locking up, wore through those pads quicker, so that's another telltale sign. Same situation here. This little piece has to get bent back for the clip. You pop the caliper out, pop the rotor off, pop some new pads and a new caliper, throw it all back on. I'm going to do that now, and then we just need to bleed the brakes. Oh, also on this side, another new control arm, or newer, which is good to see. And the sway bar end link on this side, if I can even see it. The sway bar end link is just as destroyed on this side, so gonna have to do that here too, but no big deal. They look pretty easy to change. Suspension overall on this is pretty simple. I mean, you got strut towers up here, all pretty easy to get to, and then it's just a McPherson strut system, and then they've got shocks in the back and some leaf springs too, so really simple setup. Looking forward to doing that work next once I'm done with these brakes. I don't even know if I remembered to show the other side all finished up on camera, but here is the passenger side. You can see we got the new pads in there. They clip right on up there like the old ones. Calipers are exactly the same as the old ones. Got nice new bleeder screws up here. Hoses screw in back there for the banjo bolt. Everything is routed the same way, looks the same, just looks nice and new. So just gotta wait for someone else to get here to help me bleed the brakes so they can push the pedal as I'm sitting down here holding a bottle. I gotta see if any of my brake bleeding tools are still here from when I was living here before, but yeah, after it's done being bled, it should have good brakes. And then obviously these rear brakes are drums, so I'm gonna give them a check when I'm going around bleeding everything. I don't have an emergency brake, and I just looked underneath and everything, all the mechanical wires and everything are working to actuate it. The springs and everything look brand new and they have great tension. It's just, I think those shoes need to be adjusted under there if they're even in good shape. I don't know. I haven't pulled the drum off yet, so I'll get to do that here once I do the bleeding, and we'll see what the rear drums look like. Alright, so here's what our drums look like on the rear here. You can see the shocks back here definitely need to be replaced as well. Leaf springs look good though. At least that's the only other suspension component in the rear. That's one of the beauties of the 90s. Drum brakes checked out. The e-brake actually holds really well. I've got it on right now, and I had the wheel on. I was trying to turn that. That sucker wouldn't move, so I'll try a hill test with it. As long as it holds there, it'll be good to go. This is an automatic transmission anyway. It's not like people are going to be using a handbrake much in a 93 Villager or Quest, whatever this thing is. But yep, just got that side done with the bleeding. Gonna do this side, and then the right front, left front, and we should be good. Alright, we're about 30 minutes from home right now, just chilling on Interstate 180. The van is doing great. She's just cruising along. Feels like a whole different vehicle after doing that brake job. But we should be back in Williamsport here soon, and then this week I can get started doing some other work on it, as well as next week. Yeah, definitely, it's a whole different vehicle from when I picked it up last week from Philly. I love it. Alright, I just got finished out here with rotating the tires here on the van, and I shined up these wheels while I was doing so. While I had them off, I figured I might as well do that. You can see it really made a difference. A lot of stuck on brake dust and everything. So the front wheels are now in the back here. You can see these were the ones that had the most brake dust on them. I mean, this is just something, small thing to do to really make the van look much newer. See this side where the sun hits it, they're just shining away. So that'll be something big to help the curb appeal of this when it's time to sell it. Definitely like the looks of these wheels. I'm happy they're in such good condition. And now the tires are rotated so they can wear evenly. So we have a couple other things to do now. I am currently waiting on the struts to arrive. Once they arrive, I'll be able to do that. Also, I have to look into the manifold tick, figure out what's making that tick, and then I can get in there, replace some exhaust parts. Hopefully it's just a manifold gasket. But anyway, I'm just waiting on some parts to arrive, and I've got a couple more little things to do on the van here and there just to figure some things out and make it a bit more fun to drive, and then it should be ready to go for the detail. So just stick with me here and we'll keep moving along. Alright, I'm out here working on the van again today, and I figured out something big today. So going under here to the latch, look at that. Before today, we have not had a proper working tailgate lid. It did not open. Now it shuts. It opens back up. It was exactly what I thought it was. The lock latch got loose in here. They're all just like door latch pieces. You got a link that connects up. I can't find any right here that I can really show on camera. There's one. That bar right there, they connect to little plastic pieces. So the lock one was completely disconnected. Here you can kind of see. Yeah, that's the locking mechanism one right there. So I hooked that back up. Now when you unlock all the doors, it actually unlocks the rear so you can unlatch it. And I knew this was going to be the issue. I gotta learn how to start closing that properly. I knew this was going to be the issue because I heard the actual latch mechanism flopping around in there. Sometimes over the years they just get knocked off the track or the piece and they just need to be put back on. For now, that's working good, and customers will be happy to see that when they come to look at the van. I just got to clean it up back here. It's a little dirty, but it's got its tools and everything. So yeah, I was doing some testing. It's looking like these lights should be getting power, or at least this side, and the wiper motor was just replaced, and that's also getting power, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I might just end up leave the wiper in up. I mean, that's something small. You don't really need a rear windshield wiper. It's not an inspection item here in Pennsylvania. And I also realized that the front washer fluid pump for the front sprayers is not working, so I might switch the good rear pump, since the rear pump actually works, to the front, so we have working washer fluid in the front and the rear doesn't really need a wiper. So what it needs is to be able to open so people can get in here, and that's what it can do now. So on to the next item. I also noticed these struts are kind of new for the tailgate. And the glass does pop open and work properly. Kind of hard to do that when the tailgate's open. But yeah, you can see I took apart this big trim piece back here, just clips off and pops back off and on. So it has clips on it. It's pretty easy to remove. And then this is all stuff. You got to remove this little handle from it and all that. That just all clips back in. So yeah, that's about everything for the rear. So on to what's next. Well, I plugged my lights back up and they both work. So apparently these lights only turn on when you open the tailgate, not when you open all the doors in the van. When you open the tailgate, you only get this dome light and those two. When you open the rest of the doors, like say this door, you get that middle one then too. So yep, that's the tailgate issue fixed. On to the next one. Okay, so I'm doing one more thing tonight on the van. As you can see, it's dark out, so we are kind of just working by flashlight at this point. But it's something quick, right up under the dash. I'll show you where. But it's the blower motor resistor. Here's the new one. This is why our fan speed and air conditioning and heat speed was only on 4, and we couldn't get it on anything else, so it was either 4 or nothing. We had this same problem on the Escape. And you can see this one's all rotted out and it's actually loose. Like, this should not be moving around like that. The plug itself is actually loose from the solder board itself. So this whole thing is just like rusting and crumbling away in my hands. So this is no good. This new one, I don't want to touch the actual board. It's an interesting 90s design with the springs and the actual metal plugs that hook right up to the plug itself. You can see this one's held nice to this board. The board's the same thing, the holes line up. So I'm going to pop this one in, give it a test, and I'll show you guys the location of this part on a 1993 Nissan Quest. By the way, we had this part came in today, and then something in there in the living room also came in today. I'm not going to spoil it though. That's for a later date whenever I get to put them on, next time I'm back up here in Williamsport. But for now, let's go throw this on. So if you're wondering where this thing is located, sorry it's dark, but we got some lights in here. It's up under this like fake glove box thing down here, because your glove box is up here on the passenger side, right where those wires are headed to right there. So you can see our new part right there. That was all dirty in there. I had to get the vacuum in there. I vacuumed out the box. We have a new blower motor fan. So, blower motor and fan, I assume. That's nice. So, I'm assuming someone replaced the fan, and when it still wasn't working on any speed before, they just gave up because they didn't realize the resistor went bad, and man, did it go bad. So let's find out if we fix the problem. And just like that, I know I don't have the lights on so you can't really see, but we're on speed 1, speed 2, speed 3, speed 4, back to 1. So now we officially have all of our speeds, which is very nice. It was a big inconvenience not having that. And that's that for the blower motor resistor. So once I get back up here at Williamsport, I'll be doing the shocks on it, and that's what we got. So I'll show you what they look like when I get back up here. Alright, so I'm back up here in Williamsport today. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been up here last, but I got everything set up here still. And behind me here in the garage, today is a work day on the Quest. So, as you can see, we have some quick struts ready. Obviously I don't have any spring compressors or anything set up around here, so not going to be able to do that. So we just have quick struts for the fronts, and then we have another box in here. In here we have some Monroe rear shocks and front sway bar end links. So this thing's going to get the whole treatment today, and we're going to have to take off both these wheels, well, all the wheels, and right now we got the back jacked up first. So we're going to do this rear first. Pretty easy, just a top bolt, bottom bolt. I'll set the camera up and show you guys, and let's get this job done. Alright, with the rear wheel off here, those 21mm lug nuts came off, and then we've got up here, it looks to be a 15, and then same with down here, there's another one. You can see those bushings are just toast, as well as the tube completely rotted out, and it holds no charge anymore, so these things don't damper worth a damn. So we're gonna do that. There's those drum brakes. I guess, I don't know if I showed them or not when I was doing the brake job, but we checked those out when we did the brake job, and they checked out well. So let's just get these struts done and move to the front. Alright, so it ended up being a 17mm, so we got that on there. We got the impact gun, and these should be able to come right off. Make sure you have good jack support under the solid rear axle on these. And then just get her out. There we go. Nut number one, we'll stick it back on there just so it doesn't pop out or anything, or if we gotta bang anything. Now for the lower one, I'm not going to be able to fit the impact in there, so I'm going to have to go get a breaker bar and give that a try. Alright, so apparently that spot was even too big for the breaker bar, so I just got a 1/2" ratchet, and we're going and getting in here. And hopefully it breaks. Yeah, it broke pretty easily, so that's very helpful. Alright, so look how bad these bushings are. I got the top one off, and the strut's re-extending, so this is about to get hard. But this bottom one is just not letting go, and I gotta be careful because I got all this rusted strut top up here, so I don't want to be grabbing or having my hands slide into that. But, God, yeah, this is gonna take a minute to get off here. I'm just gonna shoot some more PV Blaster in there. It's been my friend with this so far. Oh, come on. So close. There we go. There she is. Look at that. Barely wants to extend. Can't even go down because it's so rusted out. This is probably, next to my Jeep, this is probably one of the worst struts I've ever done. This is terrible. So let's swap in the new one and have this thing riding down the road so much more smoothly. Alright, so we have some Monroe Sense Track. These seem right out of the 90s, but they are new struts. Brand new in box. I gotta open the box somehow. There we go. I'll show you. The difference here is monumental. Look at that. It's a full strut, not rotted out. It's black still. It's not all brown and rusty and faded out from being on the road so many years. So yeah, we'll pop this on now. It's the same procedure. I'm probably gonna keep it, yeah, I'm gonna set it up like this and keep the little zip tie on there at first. So the top one I can do here with the impact, and the bottom one we'll do with that ratcheting wrench. The ratcheting wrench came in very handy for that bottom 17mm ratcheting wrench. Cool. Get the other one tightened down, and then we'll let her go. cleaned up those threads on the bottom as well, because I'm sure you remember they were super crusty. Alright, so I'm here with John now. We're getting these fronts taken off, and we're going to each tackle a side. I'll do the driver's side over there. John's going to take care of the passenger, and we'll get these knocked out while John takes apart his side. So we got, obviously, strut tower. We have 3. Those 2 in the back we're going to have to hit with a ratchet. Front one we can get with the breaker, with the gun over there. And then on here we have a brake line that connects up there, so we gotta loosen that clip up. We have ABS wire that goes this side, and then 2 McPherson type strut holders. And then I don't believe, no, that's all it takes to disconnect it from the knuckle. So a couple of bolts and removing some other stuff, and we'll be done. Alright, so we pulled off these end links. Here's the old one. You can see it's all blown out. It's gone. Bushing on the bottom was decent, but we have those off. We're going to put the new ones on. You can see much better bushings. Moogs all around. And yeah, there's the old struts. Really rusty. No bushings whatsoever. That's why they were popping when I would accelerate and brake. Not good. And we'll pop them in. You can see everything apart down here. It's a McPherson type strut. And then the end link just goes down in that little hole on the control arm. On the lower control arm, I should say. And yeah, then we'll just throw it back together now and ride her down the road. Alright, so we got the end links in, as you can see. Right there. Took a little bit of work to get the bottom bushing in. Also found out that all 3 of these bolts that are back here for the control arm, you can barely even see it, but they're right in there. Yeah, they were all loose on this side. John's side was perfectly tightened. Mine, I had to tighten, and that probably also was playing into the popping noise we heard. But I've got the strut right here. See, nice and new. Much better than those old ones. We're just going to pop it up in. I think John's is already up in place. He's just torquing it down. Look at that. Can't thank him enough for his help today. But I said 80 for the top and then 100 for the sides down below. Yep. So I'm going to pop mine in as well. 2 bolts right there. 3 up here. Then just attaching that clip and ABS wire again with the 2 10mm. But yeah, I'll show you guys once it's done. Well, and just like that for you guys with the power of editing, John and I have finished up these front struts. You can see the towers, new nuts on there, new towers. I am very excited. I hope this thing rides way better than it did before. Now that we've tightened down, ball joints, have brand new end lengths, new struts, everything should fit together nicely and not make any clunks anymore going down the road. My side looks just the same. Alright, so with a little bit of a streak of luck here, my headlights came early for the van. This is just the day after doing the struts yesterday. I also drove the van yesterday after putting those struts on, and it drove beautifully. It felt like a brand new vehicle. The suspension feels great. That really was the only thing wrong with the suspension, the struts and the end links in the front, and tightening that ball joint was huge. So now it drives great. Need to figure out the exhaust tick, and then some cosmetics like these headlights. The corner lights should be arriving tomorrow or Friday. Tomorrow is July 4th. You can see it's beautiful Williamsport summertime out there right now. It's actually kind of cloudy now, but perfect. The sun's not going to be beating on me. I can put these headlights on, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so coming out here under the hood now, we have 4 Phillips head screws to take off the grill, and then that'll give us access to part of the lights there. Unfortunately, I think we have to take off these corner lights to take the main housings off. So even though I can't replace the corner lights yet, because they definitely need it, they've got condensation in them and all sorts of cracking, and the gaskets fail on these all the time. But they're coming either tomorrow or Friday, so probably by Friday I should have them in, but I gotta take them out anyway today. But it's worth it. It'll be worth it once I have these replaced. Alright, so once the grill right there is removed, it gives you access to side bolts. These have been removed on this side, but there you go, you can kind of see them. They're 10mm with Phillips heads, so took those out, and then we have more bolts on the side here. Actually, no, they're these little Phillips head screws, and that'll remove the rest of this headlight bezel, and then I can throw in the new one. You do have to remove the side marker to get to that. To do that, it's one Phillips head that's on the top on this little bracket, and then it just pops out of this tab, and then I just undid the bulb connections. So let's pop out this light and pop in the new ones. You can see just how much of a difference this is going to make. Now, I have done headlight restorations on vehicles before, but with these seal beam headlights, you can never fully bring them back. So I'll probably polish them up a little bit, clean them up, and put them on eBay, because they do still work. They're good headlights. They're just a little hazy, and I wanted that like new look to match the corner lights that I'm putting in. Alright, there she is. Looking nice and new up front. Next up, paint on the outside. Repainting those mirrors, repainting those door sills, and then doing the wipe-on clear coat and polish treatment to bring back the color and depth and shine to this base coat here. Also repainting those little sill trim pieces up there black. But this really helps bring it all together. All the lights work. I'll turn them on now, show you guys. Here's our old ones. Look at that. I'll have to wait until nighttime to try to aim them. I typically use the garage doors here, aim them towards the lower level there, and it works pretty well. But looks good, I'm happy with it, and on to the next item of business. Alright, so with a stroke of luck, I got these parts just in time, which is good because in a day I'm going to be leaving Williamsport for a bit again. But we have two corner lights here, one there, and then we have an OEM Nissan dealer part still in the Nissan dealer box, and that's the sun visor for the driver's side. So I got a good deal on all these with the headlights that are already on the van that we just put on. So let's go put these on, and the van's going to be really close to being done then. Alright, so coming back under the hood here where we replaced the headlights last, I'm going to take this tab out on both sides again, and then those corner lights just pop out. I think the one comes with bulbs, the other one doesn't, so we'll just keep the bulbs that are already in, and because obviously all the bulbs on this van work. And then yeah, so let's get these new marker lights on now. Alright, I'm going to flick the lights on so you guys can see it in full. We got the new marker lights. Had to replace the little side peanut bulbs in them, but now we got those, and then the main lights for the corner lamps. Looks pretty good at nighttime. It's going to look even better. There's new headlights. And then another corner lamp here with another new peanut bulb. So yeah, it looks good. Now we got to do that sun visor, so I'll take you back inside. And it looks like it's two Phillips heads right there, and then it just unclips. So yeah, pretty easy install. I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done here. Alright, so here we go. Here's the new one, still in the Nissan dealer wrapping. This was a never used dealership part back when they supported these parts. Wow, even like, that's kind of coming off, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. That was happening with my other one too. Just happens over the years, but I mean, compare that to this one, and yeah, we're in business with that new one. Alright, so we're all complete in here. Look at that. Nice new fitment. Same color as the headliner, matches the passenger side, and it's not flopping down in my face anymore. So glad that's done. Now I'm going to be going out of town for a little bit, but I'll be back soon. And when I get back, well, tomorrow hopefully I'll figure out where this exhaust leak's coming from. When I get back, hopefully I'll be able to actually fix the exhaust leak. No matter what, it feels good to have some more stuff done on this beast. And she looks pretty good now on the outside, cosmetically. At least the paint still has to come along, but the rest is about ready. Alright, so we're coming down to the final things we need to do here on the Nissan Quest, and today we have it in the garage, and the big plan is to finally tackle all the paint spots that need to be painted. So that would be these side pillar rails here that are obviously hand painted and need to be scuffed up and resprayed. I want to do these mirrors as well. They are interesting. They really have failed on the top here. They've started to burn away almost. So sand those down a little bit and spray them with the gloss black as well. And as well as this little pillar trim here right on the windshield. So with that, should really help give this van a newer look on the front and the side here. And then we also got our clear coat restoration for this 2 spots of clear coat burn through, and we'll be able to do that here next, as well as a full detail on this van. And really that's one of the last steps we have here to do, is the full detail and fix that little exhaust donut leak underneath. Here's what we're going to be using today. Pretty simple, some sandpaper to sand everything down and some finer grit just to smooth it out and really get it ready for primer. We have some automotive primer, and then high performance enamel just so it can stand up to the heat and everything, painter's tape and stuff to mask. And I'm just going to tape off these sections, scuff them up with sandpaper, and spray some primer and enamel down, and it should be good to go. Alright, we got everything masked off here to do the pillars first. Got both sides done. Kept some pretty tight lines. I tried to, even up here in the corners where it's a little tight. But now we're going to try to sand everything down as best as we can, get this as smooth as a finish as we can, and then paint it. Just to show you guys around the other side here, we have the same process going on. Just the same amount of sanding is needed over here as well. Alright, here we go. We've got the pillars sprayed. You can see it's that deep gloss enamel. The only problem with it does run a little bit. I have a couple issues with that. But these are just pillar trims. You can see this side turned out a little bit better. Definitely looks a lot better than brushed on paint. Looks like it was actually sprayed properly, and I'm happy with it. I'll show you guys what it looks like once I take these bags off and all this tape and masking, and then we're going to do these pillars as well. And I'm trying to debate whether or not I want to do the mirrors because they're plastic. I don't know how well the enamel's going to sit on there, so I might not do them. Alright, so I've unmasked these sections here. This side is the one that has a little bit of runs. I'm not too happy with it, but still, I mean, both sides look way better than it looked before where it was hand brushed on. It actually looks glossy and new. So that's the look I'm looking for. So I don't care if it has a little bit of runs. Once again, this is an older van. It's going to be listed pretty cheaply, and it looks way better than it did. I also treated the plastic on the mirrors. I don't think I'm going to paint these. I don't want to mess with the enamel on this plastic. I don't think it's going to stick. And after treating them, they actually came out pretty good. Apart from the sun damage to the plastic, brought back some nice color. I'm happy with it, so I'm probably going to leave those. And now I'm just masking up these sections to spray and prime them. Alright, so it's the next morning here. I sprayed these pillars overnight and let them sit. You can see they turned out really nice. No drips on these, nice gloss black finish. Really happy with how these turned out. Did both sides. See if I can get around, show you this other side here. This one turned out just as good. Not really any blemishes or imperfections on these, so I'm really happy with how they turned out. A lot better than these side door trims. But even these turned out pretty good. They've dried pretty well now, so it's got a nice finish to it. I'm happy with it. I'm going to unmask the ones I just painted, and then they'll be good to go. Alright, she's all unmasked. I am really happy with how these turned out. Here's the final look at our handiwork from yesterday, our artwork I should say. Really happy. Obviously, like I said, there's a little bit of blemishes and imperfections on the finish, on these rails, but the front rails turned out amazing. It's a nice durable enamel paint, so it should really stand up to the heat and any wind and bugs or anything that hits it on the highway. It should really hold up to that and be protected. I just really like the way it makes it look. Makes it look so much newer, not showing all that chrome there. So that's that for, you know, painting. We have to still fix the clear coat here and do a paint correction, and that'll be included in the detail after I fix the little exhaust leak that we still have to do. So once I get this outside of the garage, I'll show you guys it in the light, and here it is. Alright, so we are on the final stage of ownership here with this van. Before I flip it, it's the detailing part is what we're doing today. So I've got the hood popped over here. We're going to be starting with the engine bay. Going to do a full degreasing, get all this grime and dirt and pine needles and crap out of here, and really make this engine bay look a lot newer than it does now. So here it is now. Let me show you the after. Alright, and here it is all degreased. Looking a lot better. Those valve covers shining now, not being all dull and black. Got all the grease off the radiator fan as well. That was all covered in stuff. And this whole side, there was some power steering leakage up there by the reservoir. Got that all cleaned up. So yeah, looking much better now. A lot more professional. When someone pops this hood and takes a look under here, they're going to be able to see where everything is. Looks like a nice clean van. Alright, well, I have the van masked off in here, and it is finally time to do this clear coat restoration. So I'm going to be doing it on the hood, the front bumper obviously, and the roof, as well as a couple of these side trim pieces and the door handles. So it's a little hard to mask off those door handles, and then obviously the roof back here too. I'm going to do it onto this deck lid. This side we've got the same thing, same setup. So yeah, this should work out pretty well. I basically now have to scuff up all of this paint that I'm going to be doing, so hood, bumper, roof, and then these trim pieces. I'm going to take a little scuff rag to them and just some soapy water, just to get any grease, tar, any other contaminants off of there. You can see it's just a whole box of goodies here. Just one of these little Scotch-Brite pads. And then I've also got some mixing cups so I can mix this together, because it is a real clear coat. You have to mix a hardener into it and everything. Then they give me a bunch of towels to wipe off in case I make a mistake. And I also have an applicator pad in there. So I'm just going to go around, get everything scuffed up and ready, and then I'll go ahead and start applying this clear coat. Alright, so I've gone around and I've prepped all these areas. You can see, just scuffed up now. Took the wax and grease remover to it. The hood you can really see. And the front bumper too. So yeah, took some wax and grease remover to it. And now it is ready for me to apply this clear restorer. Alright, so here is the final result. You can already see on these handles. Looks much more shiny now. Same with this trim piece down here. It doesn't look like it's fading. I've noticed that it seems to work better on plastic. I still have to do this front bumper, about to hit that now, than metal, but even the hood, like, it's not bad. Added some really nice depth and gloss to the paint. There's a couple streaks, so it's not perfect. The roof just really helps to add that depth and gloss though. Once the rest of this is polished up, it's going to look really good. This deck lid, the whole roof turned out really good. There's just a little bit of streaking. It's not bad. If I have to hit it again tomorrow, I might. But yeah, I'm going to do this bumper here quickly. I'm happy with how it's turning out. Alright, so I just pulled off the masking tape, and here we go. Here's the final product. It definitely wiped on better to the plastic trim pieces and like door handles. but it still looks great on the roof. Gives it that nice depth and gloss. Really makes it look like that original color again. And then coming around to the back here, you can kind of see the split. So once I polish up the rest of this paint, that color should match perfectly. And for now, this gives us a idea of what the rest of the paint's going to look like. And it fixes our clear coat peel. I'm pretty sure this stuff lasts up to 5 years. So definitely more than enough time for this clear coat, just to give it some extra time before getting a paint job. Here's the hood. You can see a lot better in the daylight how rich that color came back. Same with the bumper. Just looks great. Makes me really excited to go ahead and finish the paint correction here. But first up is this interior. So I'm just going to go through. It's not too bad, which is good for me. Not too much I'm going to have to do. A little bit of a spot extraction back here and stuff like that. I've already pressure washed the front mats and the rear cargo area mat. So really all I've got to do is vacuum, treat these plastic and other trim materials. Alright, so here we are, the final look at the van here. And she looks magnificent. I love how it actually looks nice and glossy red now. It's not pinkish. You can see that wipe on clear, it did pretty well. It really did a great job at bringing the color back at least. And that's what matters. And you can see here where I taped it off, no difference whatsoever. Exact same color as this paint when it polishes up. And boy did she polish up nicely. I knew there was some good paint hiding behind all that oxidation. And then we've got the new enamel. Those nice new headlights look great. The hood and the bumper as well, looking all nice and shiny. You can see it's a good gloss. You can see some of the streaks in it, but it's not bad. Around this side it's just as glossy. Then around the back, we'll open up this tailgate first. Put the Nissan emblem on there. Had that just hanging around from a junkyard, so I figured I'd throw it on since that's how it's supposed to be. The back of this turned out really nice. If you remember before, it was covered in like hay and crap and just mold, and really took me a while to clean it up, but it looks great. Here's the whole back seat area. And the headliner looks great. And this van is just purring away, chilling here. Alright, take you around the side now, show you guys the inside. These door cards came out looking great. If you remember, they had a lot of grime and buildup on them before. Same with the little handles there. Yeah, very happy with that. This dashboard came out amazing. I'm so happy. Somehow it doesn't have any cracks or blemishes in it, which for 30 years old, almost 31 years old now, that's very impressive. Headliner 2 is looking amazing. And we got, you know, typical climate control, little aftermarket radio, some storage down there. The AC feels beautiful in here right now. Take you guys around back. Power seats all work. It's a very nice van, especially for 1993. It has a lot of nice options. These two seats fold down to give you access to the third row back here. All the seats are in great shape. The cloth is in amazing condition. You've got factory headphone jacks to to tune into the radio, and there's your rear climate control selector, which can also be controlled by the front. Take you around to the other side now. The doors close nicely. Very impressive vehicle, and you can hear it's just purring away here. I'm very happy with it. Very happy that I was able to save it from auction and bring it back to life. And I'll be able to bless a family who is really in need of a 7-passenger vehicle. And at the same time, hopefully make a little bit of money off of this. Not going to make much off of this one, but this was more for my own personal self. I've always loved these vans, and I've always wanted to own one. And I bought myself a pretty nice one here. You can see here, only lights on are for the seat belts because those motorized tracks don't work anymore. The leather wrap steering wheel turned out amazing. It really cleaned up nicely. For almost 200,000 miles, it is in amazing shape. Same with pretty much all of this van apart from the paint. So anyway, that is it for our Nissan Quest. We've finished up here. I am excited to pass this van on to its next owner, make someone really happy, and give a family a nice, reliable, dependable vehicle here for good money. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed watching me bring this Quest back to life, make sure to leave a thumbs up to show your support. Subscribe for more content just like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.